Hey friends, welcome back to the Healthy Beyond 40 podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about mindset shifts, specifically when it comes to sugar cravings and the mindset shift of thinking of who that future self is that you want. So we're going to be talking about sugar craving, habit, mindset, and how these are all connected. And I'll share practical strategies for enjoying treats without the guilt, ways to build consistency in your healthy habits, and shifting the way you think about food so you can support choices that support your future self. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michelle, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. All right, and before we dive in today, I just want to tell you guys about Organifi's green juice. I've been using this for over a couple years. I started using it at a time we are moving and I was just feeling stressed. And I also ran out of it recently. And I had also been a little sick, so I was feeling under the weather. My energy had been low for a while because I was sick and not sleeping well, but it just wasn't coming back. And I finally ordered and stocked up on the green juice again. And pretty immediately I started to notice a difference in my energy. And the one thing I really love about Organifi's green juice that stands out from other ones is it has a clinical dose of ashwagandha, and this is an adaptogen herb that helps with stress, hormones, and energy levels. So instead of taking an extra supplement or anything like that, it's just in those greens, and all those things are in one thing all together. So if you want to try it out, use the code HEALTHY20 when you check out. You're going to save 20% off your order, and you can use that code anytime. So if you order again, use that HEALTHY20 code. There's going to be a link in the description where it can head right to that page for you. So this can be a really simple way to support your health through the holidays. All right, so let's dive into this topic today about the future self and our mindset. So I want you guys to, while you're doing this, feel free to pause and journal throughout this episode if you want to. I know quite a bit of people walk or do different things as they listen, but this might be one where you want to journal or journal after. So imagine what you want yourself to look like, and not just physical appearance, but the way you act, the way you feel after Christmas time. So about 3 months from now. And then I want you to think the same thing. What do you want 12 months from now? Do you want to be healthier, stronger? Do you want to be more confident? Do you want food decisions to be easier for you, where you're not negotiating with yourself about things? Do you want to have ease around treats where you don't feel consumed by them? So take some time and really start to imagine that, and literally picture that in your mind. Picture yourself somewhere. What are you doing? Get a really good picture. Our brain can literally start to build networks just by using visualization. So let me give you an example here. So imagine it's Monday morning and you overslept. You skip your workout and you grab a muffin on your way to work. Immediately that little voice in your head kicks in. You're so lazy. You never get this right. You always mess up. Does that sound familiar? Those negative things we say to ourselves, they can be mean, judgmental, punishing, and they don't motivate us. They actually keep us stuck. They make us feel defeated before we even start our next day. Now, let's imagine a different approach. Same thing. It's Monday morning and you overslept. And instead to yourself, you say, I overslept. It's okay. I'll just do a quick workout and I'll eat mindfully next. Suddenly, you're not trapped in that shame. You're learning how to adjust and move forward. And that's the kind of mindset that builds habits and consistency. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being compassionate with yourself and making choices that your future self will thank you for. Right? We don't want our future self to be one that is beating us up and being unkind to us. So even on these inner thoughts we have going in our head, and I think I read a study before, like women have way more thoughts going on in their head than men. What are those thoughts? Because those thoughts going on in your head, and sometimes we're not even like fully aware of them, but they lead us to feeling and acting a certain way. So we want to think of that future self. What does she do around temptations like sugar, candy? What does she do when her schedule is busy? So I want to dive back to this visualization exercise and give you guys a few more things to think about as you're doing that. So think about, what does that future self look like? What is she doing day to day? How is she moving, eating, and caring for her body? What are the things she's saying yes to, and what are the things she's saying no to? And I'll actually add those questions in the podcast description so you guys have those so you can sort of take some time with them. Because these decisions and how we're thinking is going to change how we're acting. We're habits of creature. So often we can just go on automatic. We keep doing the same things over again. So it's hard to do something else. It's really, really hard to change our thoughts and change the way we're talking to ourselves. But it can be done. So for you to change in your health, whether that's habits, losing weight, fitting into a different size, that means today you have to start doing something different than what you've done, right? You can't keep doing the same things, or you go all in, then you give up. You can't keep doing the same things and expect a different result. We have to think what that future person is doing and then start those habits, those thoughts, those mindset shifts now. And so one other piece with mindset I want to dive into is this fear of missing out. So a lot of times when it comes to sugar or sweets, overindulgence, we just have this fear of missing out. And sometimes it sounds silly to say aloud, but it's there. Like we're at some type of gathering and we're afraid of not eating the same thing as everyone else, or not having the cookie, or like telling someone no that we don't want something. And there can be this fear there. So picture this. You're at a church gathering and there's a table full of cookies, brownies, and all your favorite treats. Normally, fear of missing out kicks in. You think, if I don't eat some now, I'll regret it, or everyone else is indulging, so should I. It might look weird if I don't grab something. I might insult someone if I don't eat it. And then this fear of missing out can quickly lead to overindulging and feeling guilty afterwards. But here's the mindset shift. Instead of having that fear of missing out control you, you can pause and check in with that future self. That person who has met some of those goals that you want to meet. And ask her, what would my future self do here now? What aligns with the person I want to become? The future self might say, I'll have one treat if I really want it and it's my favorite. I'm going to savor it mindfully, and then I'm going to skip everything else. Or it might say, you know what, I actually don't really need this, so I can skip it. Or I'm going to wait till tomorrow because I know my favorite cheesecake is going to be there. This is where, as you see, there's not one right answer for you. So it's something you have to decide. And sometimes that can be really hard for us when there's not like this clear black and white answer what we should do. But the answer is within you. So this is where those new truths comes in. Maybe you can enjoy treats without guilt. And you start to realize consistency matters more than perfection. Or maybe I don't need this treat. Maybe I can be okay even if I feel uncomfortable. Because it can be uncomfortable sitting at that table while everyone else is eating, and you choose not to because you're not hungry. Or maybe you just don't want the sugar. And you can reframe the thought so that it feels like you're not missing out, but that you're showing up as your future version of yourself that just wants to enjoy this company and to feel good about themselves. So maybe you think, I'm okay missing this. It won't derail me. I'm focused on bigger goals. And you can identify those new truths, those things that are more true for you now than the other things you're saying in your head. Maybe it's, I can enjoy treats without guilt, but I know I'm not going to go overboard. And I want you guys to keep in mind that cravings, feelings, they're just sensations in our body, right? I might have this urge to eat something, but it's just a sensation in our body. It does not last forever. all emotions go away, right? Maybe I felt anxious or we felt sad about something, but it doesn't stay with us forever. It eventually passes. It definitely sometimes does not feel like that in the moment. It can feel very intense. And that craving or these different emotions we have aren't bad, but we don't have to act on them all. Like, we give our control away. I've heard people say, like, I just don't have self-control. I'm like, oh, really? And if I repeat that back to them, like, oh yeah, so you have no self-control. And they're like, well, no. So we're telling ourselves a lie. And we can also be someone that develops more self-control when it comes to sweets. We're not weak, right? There can be biological things going on bringing us to wanting sugar more and more. But it doesn't mean we're weak. It doesn't mean we have absolutely no self-control. So we have to stop telling ourselves that, right? For those of you who are parents, you may have heard, like, we don't want to keep labeling our kid. Like, we don't want to label them as lazy and keep telling them, like, oh, you're so lazy, you didn't even pick this up. Because why? They start to believe that and they start to act that out. Instead, if we had a child who was maybe lazy, maybe we're going to notice something that they actually did. Like, oh, wow, you took your bowl over to the dishwasher. Like, that was great. Like, we're going to notice those times that they are not lazy and bring them out. And that is what we have to do with ourselves. We have to tell ourselves the full truth of who we are and not box ourselves into, I have no self-control. So we have to drop those things that we have in our mind that aren't true and aren't 100% true and aren't leading us to where we want to be. So we can always pause and check in. What would my future self choose here? And there may be times where you really just need to work on the pausing, right? Because we just go on autopilot and we forget to, like, even ask ourselves that question. What would my future self choose? So we have to learn to pause and slow down and ask ourselves those questions. You can even plan for indulgences and savor them. Sometimes we eat so fast. Today for lunch, I had like 5 minutes to eat before I had to pick my son up. And I didn't want to wait till I got back because I was just really hungry. And I'm just like sitting there like scarfing it down as fast as I can. Like, I don't like to do that. We need to actually be able to, most of the time, sit down, chew our food, and slow down. And not be distracted while we're eating too. Sort of another side point here. But we want to get rid of those distractions, our phones, whatever that is while we're eating, and slow down. Enjoy our food. And I know that so many of us struggle with sugar cravings. And it's not just about willpower. It's tied to our habits, our emotions, and the patterns we fall into every day. And that's exactly why I help women over 40 in my coaching. We focus on building consistency, simple, realistic habits around food, movement, and mindset so that they don't feel guilty anymore or stuck. And it all varies person to person what these habits are and how someone moves to a healthier version of themselves. So when we work together, you'll learn how to handle sugar cravings without feeling deprived, build healthy habits that actually stick, and shift your mindset so the guilt or the all or nothing thinking doesn't control you. So if this sounds like something you need, you can book a free coaching call with me, and we'll figure out those small steps that fit your life and help your future self feel amazing. And as always, if you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, I have my Healthy for Life membership that's super affordable, and it has nutrition, mindset, and workouts all in one. So make sure you guys check the description down below and take that next step so you can actually start moving forward and be closer to where you want to be when it comes January.